What's going on, y'all? This is JWalkBeats, and in this video, I'm gonna show you what I do to mix my drums and what you can do to make your drums. Now, this is gonna be a series, so in this video, I'm gonna start with how I mix my kick. Now, that's my processed kick, and I used a stock sound from Ableton. I imported the drums from Ableton into FL Studio, but you can do this with any drum sound. And this is I made this from this. So first off, what I do is I mix the kick in any sound in the sampler before I mix them in the insert. So what I did was I normalize it. It's a minor difference, but it's there. I used the pogo effect. I made a video prior to this on how you can use the pogo effect to give your drums a little bit more of an attack. Here's what it sounds like without the pogo effect. Sounds pretty similar to the default setting, but when I add the pogo effect, oops, we get this sound. It gives a little extra high frequency information. It gives it a little more punch, and I wanted to make it even more present, so I pitched it up 3 semitones. And that's pretty much what I did. Now with this, the volume multiplier, here's a technique I actually got from YouTuber by the name of JWalkBeats. So you could check him out. But I found this tip to be very resourceful. So what I do with the volume multiplier, I crank it up. Before I add the volume multiplier, I add a Fruity Soft clipper. What this does is it clips the sound without actually clipping it. It's kind of like a distorter. Once it reaches a certain threshold, then once it reaches a certain level, then it will not go through. And what the volume multiplier does is it kind of like bangs, it tries to break through this threshold, but it doesn't. But at the same time, it gives the kick a little bit more aggressiveness. So I mix my drums in the sampler before I mix them in the insert. So then what I do with the drum inside the insert is when I get my EQ, I find the point of impact within the kick sample. The point of impact is where the frequency range where the sample is more present when the attack is there. So what I'm going to do is, hold on. So what I'm going to do is open default for parametric EQ and turn this off. So we can find the point of impact and accentuate it. So you can see what I mean. Point of impact is really over here. You don't want to crank that up too much because it will get in the way of the bass, but you can always sidechain the bass with the kick. So what I do to give it a little bit more, to make it a little bit more boxy and punchy is usually this frequency over here in the mids, close to the low mids, but right here in the mids, somewhere around this frequency. So that's basically what I did, and then I took off some of the bass, so the bass won't be obnoxious in the kick. All right, so then the next thing I did, let me mute this and turn this back on. There's the Fruity Soft Clipper. Now, what you want to do is, first let me explain what I did. What I did was I added a compressor to it. I accentuated the point of impact, or a point of impact. The point of impact is really in the bass, but I accentuated the boxy area so it could give it a little bit more punch. Use the Fruity Soft Clipper to give it a little distortion. Then I add the Fruity compressor. What the compressor does, what I did was gave it a relatively short attack, very small ratio, raise it up quite a bit. But you want to do that you want to do that after. Well, in this case, I wanted to use the EQ with Soft Clipper. I wanted to use the compressor after I used the EQ with Soft Clipper. So the point of impact that I synthesized, so to say, that I added here can be accentuated. And then pretty much after that, I EQ some of the frequencies that were kind of obnoxious, the sine frequencies that are kind of in the way, and then I boosted up the high end just to give a little bit more texture. I love my drums textured. And what I did with the reverb is I give it a really short decay time, and I raise up the bass so the kick drum could so I could get the kick drum with a little bit more stereo. This A B without the reverb and with the reverb. This is without the reverb. As you can see, the kick is a little bit more towards the mono, if not entirely. So now here's with the reverb. It gives it a little bit more body and it widens it out a little bit. Now what I did with the limiter, I wanted to mess with the decay time a little bit, but that was just an option. So once again, I gone from this kick drum to this kick drum. Alright, now if you stick around, I'm gonna hopefully eventually come with a video on how I mix my snares and how you can. The guidelines are pretty much similar to this, but since it's a different sound, I might as well just review it, alright? Thanks for watching.